you paved a way for me and created an opportunity for me that no other shop provides.
Something's got to change, something's got to improve. And it's going to be the shop, it's going to be me, it's going to be my team around me. I try the 9 to 5, I try to do work outside or indoors, and I just always found myself looking outside the window and wanting to see what's out there. But, you know, they don't want to see you be more successful than them in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I maybe got there a little quicker or I went a different route, but I had to go through those obstacles and overcome those and ask for help.
Look, used to only dream, then I found my purpose. Walking in it, ain't no monkey business every time I surface. Don't want models twerking, know that bottle surface. Good and faithful servant.
My guy.
You already know?
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, bro.
What's up, bro?
Get you in there, brother.
Now, let's get it.
Come on, we are, man.
This spot seems too comfortable, bro.
This is, bro. It's just the vibe, brother. Leo, man. I mean, you own the Fade Factory. You've been on the come up, bro. I mean, you've made it, bro. You've done what most barbers' dreams are, is to get that shop and get all that open. So, I mean, just tell the people like who you are and what do you do, man.
Cool, man. So, you know, I'm Leo Vasquez Jr., formerly known as Leo the Barber, but I'm the owner of the Fade Factory, as you mentioned, man. And you know, getting to this part of the journey was really, how do I even say, man? It's been a long process with COVID and building a clientele over the years. With 8 years experience now, I felt like it was just kind of time to really expand and provide like a creative platform for everybody like that's under me, so to speak. And I hate to say under me because like the team is just such an important part of what we do here.
Oh yeah.
In the Fade Factory. I mean, you just feel it when you walk in, right? The creative
100%.
juice is always flowing. I feel like to get out of your comfort zone, you have to be around those people, like you always say, with the same mindset as you. And
yeah.
I think we always push each other in this building every day. We say it's another Thursday, right? It's another day in the office, but like that's really what like kind of drives me to come to work a lot, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, man, just understanding like the game and understanding that there's an end goal to it all.
I mean, you're a prime example. Is you know, your strive for success is really like crazy, man. Like the level that you're putting yourself at is like it's leaking out of you, bro. You know, we are just like playing catch up at this point, you know. But I'm glad I can provide that platform for you in a sense of where you can be yourself.
Oh yeah.
And there's no restrictions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what we're doing today. You know, at the end of the day, like we're educating, but we're also pushing ourselves in a way that we're not familiar with.
100%, bro. And then I mean too, bro, like you've came a long way on your journey to getting to where you are now. I mean, it took a lot of steps in order to get here. Like, so I mean, like growing up for you especially, like what was kind of your childhood like through growing up, through going through your processes? Like, I mean, you have siblings as well.
Yeah.
What was the childhood like for you, man?
No, good question. I mean, family and like my childhood would mean a lot to me, and like in the sense of that's where I kind of learned a lot of my foundations, morals and just beliefs, I guess. You know, being like a first generation to go to college and then not knowing what the true aspect of what college really meant to me. You know, I had to go and basically live and learn and fail, and learn how to fail and love how to fail, because I mean, I was the only one doing it. But I was doing it in a sense for like my siblings and my family to somehow get some kind of fulfillment and feel kind of like proud to be their brother and to be their son, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And so when we finally got to this point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna do barbering after I've tried everything else, it became natural because I'm such an artist at heart that I kind of just tapped into what I always knew, and from, you know, drawing on my homework to finding interest in doing hair designs, I just felt like that was like my calling. And barbering just fell in my lap, man. It was honestly like a last resort kind of thing. I tried the 9 to 5, I tried to do work outside or indoors, and I just always found myself looking outside the window and wanting to see what's out there. And so I do a little traveling in my younger, my youth or whatever before going to college. But yeah, man, just nothing better than being hands-on and being creative with what I can control with my hands. It's great. It's a good feeling, and that's really what honestly drives me to go to work to do every day as well. It's just I can be creative. I can release anything that's going on away from work and just be myself here. And obviously creating with hair, man. I mean, every client, everybody's different.
Come on,
man. You already know.
I'm saying, bro,
it's just like it's such a relief when you come to work. You know, when you love what you do, it does not feel like work. You know, so You already know, bro. We preach that every day. It's like, why push to satisfy other people's needs when in reality, like, I come to work just to be happy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It's your peace almost.
Yeah, and
you know
I think
what I'm
that just
saying?
like, yeah, exactly. It's your piece, and that just rubs off on everybody, bro. I don't like when people have a bad day, especially in the chair. And if you're reclined in my chair, you tend to have a great day when you leave the chair, you know?
Because you get to cultivate that experience for people. And that's something that I preach all the time, dude. It's like when you have that opportunity to cultivate that experience for people, you get to make them feel good. You get to give them a purpose. And I say it all the time. It's like once we can create, like you said, you're creating that for them. You're creating a safe space. You're creating the opportunity for them to feel good about themselves. You're creating a lifelong impression on these people, so therefore they can take that with them. And I mean, dude, we were talking about it the other day. You were saying like it was so crazy to see these kids grow up. Like I was cutting this one kid and you're like, dude, I've been cutting that kid since he was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just insane because you do have, as a barber, such an impact on these people. And I mean, especially for you too, like going kind of back to your childhood and being the first in your like bloodline to do the things that you're doing, be one of the first business owners, and not just a business owner, but a very successful one at that. How has that kind of felt for you to go through that journey and be the first to do it? How has paving that way kind of enlightened you along your journey?
It's crazy to think about that in that aspect, and that question is great because at first barbering was not a thing here in Hayes. It just was another form of industry that just wasn't that Hayes didn't have, right? So like when I first came here, barbering wasn't popular, definitely wasn't seen on social media as a career choice for most people. And then now, you know, we get people that are inspired by what we do, either in the shop every day or opening up a shop or having others in the shop that work with you that are such charismatic people like us. Like, you know, you're a prime example as well as like when I sent you that memory of us, you know, in the chair and you in the chair and just like young Remy in the chair getting a cut. Like, did I know that you were going to become this, bro? No, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I had some kind of inspiration towards you getting to where you're at today. If it was me selling my clippers to you or you coming in like, bro, what can I get? What can I get my hands on? What's for sale? And I'm like, shoot, anything's for sale at the right price, right?
Yeah,
but you know, I hooked you up, bro.
Come
you know,
on,
come on, we put you on. And someone did the same thing for me, so I felt obligated to help you out because of your desire to do hair, you know what I'm saying? I think that was the biggest battle, is just to cut, not necessarily cutting the hair is like the biggest issue. It's just starting, right?
Yeah.
Starting the process, getting that clipper turned on and putting it to hair is crazy. It's a crazy feeling being in someone's comfort zone like that, or in their bubble, so to speak.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just wild. And so like inspiring the kids, man, it means a lot to me. I think the long-lasting impression that I will probably leave here in my community is that I've inspired either another entrepreneur, another content creator, another barber, so to speak, to be successful. You know what I'm saying? I think that's is successful in my eyes.
Yeah.
That we can have this big, great shop and have awesome people come out of it. But you know, at the end of the day, it's like, what are we leaving behind?
Yeah, like
so,
what's the purpose behind it? And I mean, that's so huge too. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I made the video about it the last time too. Is when we had our guys come in, and it's like, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for you. And that's just hands down what it is. Like, I wouldn't be cutting hair, I wouldn't be in this shop. And it's like, I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, well, why'd you come back to Hayes? And my biggest answer every time is like, dude, yeah, I could have been at a bigger city, I could have been somewhere else, but it's like, you paved a way for me and created an opportunity for me that no other shop provides.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing here with the team that I have, with you guys, with everybody in this shop, because it's like, you cultivated a place for all of us to grow and prosper. And I mean, hands up to you, man, like, amen.
Appreciate
because you did something that, like, people walk in here all the time and it's just kudos. All of our clients say it all the time. It's like, it doesn't even feel like you're in Hayes, Kansas. I mean, we have
I love that. I love that compliment.
People,
yeah, I love that compliment. And I'm not originally from Hayes, you know. Like I try to bring a little bit of everything that I've learned over the years to this, you know, platform, this shop that we have here. And you know, kudos to my mentors as well. You know, from learning from Gio the barber, you know, the Fantisma barber, Isaac Esquivel, he's one of my first barbers, to one of the guys I worked next to in the chair, and like Manny and Josh, you know, like, you learn a lot in barber school, but you start learning the most and valuing what you need to know to implement to your clientele when you're in the shop, right?
100%.
100%. And so, and I'm sure you thought you knew everything coming out of school, and as soon as you get to the shop, you're like, oh fuck, you know, I got to switch this up, or what I'm saying? Maybe I got to do a little bit different here, but that's part of working with like your peers, man, and your good friends. Is like they keep you honestly accountable in everything you do. So
I mean, that's huge too. I mean, you just kind of spoke to it. It's like everybody that you surround yourself with is going to either teach you something and you're going to learn a lesson. But I always say it's like sometimes you don't always learn what to do. Sometimes you learn what not to do. And then even surrounding yourself by so many people, somebody might make a mistake and then they're like, hey, Remy, don't do it this way. Or, hey, you come to me and you're like, hey, I've done this already. Maybe try it this way. So you don't sit in that failure as long. And I mean, something for you too, you mentioned it was your mentors. How much of an impact did those people have on you and your career? Because I think you were talking about it before too, and we've kind of had this conversation. You were a firefighter first. What kind of pushed you into the trajectory of being a barber? What kind of made your eyes say, oh, like this is a field that I might want to get into? And then as you got into that field, how did the people around you like mentor you into being into a place to grow and prosper?
Great question. So no, I feel like my math teacher, man, like, you know, Miss Liggett, shout out to her, Buckland High School, man, like small school, but she just knew that I had like an artistic ability, right? And she knew I was good at math, but she really knew I was going to strive in some kind of art field, right?
Yeah.
And you know, when I got to college, I kept that in the back of my head, but I definitely wanted to try everything. So I tried architecture, I tried the 9-to-5 in office space stuff, and I just, like I said, I found myself looking outside the window, maybe something more practical with my hands or team oriented. So I got into firefighting and I graduated and did all that, but I wasn't really happy with where I was going. Mm-hmm. I knew there was something else, right? And so I hit a wall, and you know, and you feel a little bit like a failure because you have this degree and you have nothing to show for it. You're just clocking in, clocking out, you're just going through the motions. And then it wasn't until I'm like, look, I'm scrolling through Instagram, literally watching people cut hair. Like, why can't I do it? I know I can do it. Hell, I want to learn how to do it. And so I put myself in that situation. I moved away from Hayes and I went through barber school. I found a really good mentor out there that was cutting my hair, and really I was going to the same school he was, and Don Pedro, who's now a tattoo artist, you know, and he gave me my first tattoo, and we sat down and talked about it. He goes, man, like just go through barber school, get your piece of paper, and just get to work. You know, hard work really does pay off. But like, you know, I can give you everything I have. Like he was kind of like what I was to you. He gave me my tools. He gave me a place to put my guards, you know, a comb. Like it all meant so much to me because he was such a great barber.
Yeah.
And I looked up to him quite a bit. And he's a few years older than me, but like I feel like he was 10 years ahead of the game where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know, he did a magazine with the Clipper company, Andis, and like, you know, like that was like such a goal for me to you know, get incorporated with Clipper brands and stuff like that. And you get carried away in the overnight success that you forget to, you know, the little things of hard work does pay off. And so, you know, I put my head down. I got out of barber school, and I came to Hayes where there wasn't any barbers to really learn off of, you know. So I was at a disadvantage, but I was at the greatest advantage in the long run.
Yeah, man.
Having that clientele and having to corner that market myself, and just being good with my relationships with my clients. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, I'm probably not the best barber. I'm not self-proclaimed barber, best in the game. You know, like that's, I just leave it up to the people to decide. But my relationships and what I have, like, you know, what you're building now too is as a first-year guy, bro. You already have the foundation, and I'm more than happy to help you out. And 10, 20 years down the road, bro, like just continue to help each other out. Because I learned a lot from you, and I'm very capable of helping you out in any way, shape, or form, bro. So never hesitate to ask.
Yeah, man. And that's huge, bro. I mean, you kind of spoke to it too. Those people in your life that are placed in your life, they're always there for a purpose, whether it's to learn from, whether it's to help you understand something that you might not have known before, whether it's just seeing something from a different perspective. I mean, that's always the biggest thing too. And I mean, like, a lot of barbers have, or even people have the idea, oh, I might want to be a barber. And then for you too, you started in the game. So I'd say I'm pretty fresh. I'm new to the game. I'm more of a new era barber. Yeah. For you as well, you've been in the game for quite some time, like 10 plus years around there, right? So
8 years,
my
man.
bad. He's like, I'm not that old.
But yeah, no.
So 8 years in the game, dude. Going to barber school for you and seeing like how social media is transformed, how has that kind of opened up your eyes to new perspectives, and especially in the barber school then versus what you see now in the real world? Like, how has that kind of changed your perspective?
And when I went to your school, I really started realizing it, right? So like, I'm 8 years in the game. So in 2017, I mean, you can just try to go back where Instagram was, Facebook was, like, maybe Twitter was as well. We didn't really have anyone mentoring us on how to utilize social media in a sense of branding yourself, right? And then we're in such a copy and paste world now, fast forward 10 years, 8 years, that everybody's like, again, is just so quick to have that instant gratification with likes and follows. For me, it was just more like, okay, get my piece of paper, try to put something out every day, but I'm a perfectionist at heart, so I was actually in the wrong industry, especially when cutting hair, because you can't spend too much time cutting hair, right?
Yeah, man.
But at the end of the day, social media really did help play a part of me, because I found myself scrolling and looking at barbers that I would look up to and stuff, and I'm actually got to meet some of those barbers, going to these barber expo shows, and I was in the room with those guys, man. I'm not too far off from those so-called mentors and people that I inspire to be.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a crazy feeling when you're in the same room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. You already know, like, just being in the room with, people that you look up to is insane, man. And you just absorb so much, and they can contribute to the questions that you have, and like, hey man, am I on the right path? Or like, what did you do in this certain situation? And I think I told you that too when you were going through barber school. Like, you're gonna hit a road or a bump in the road, and you got to be ready to overcome that bump, man. And you 100%. Gave me the best answer that I could possibly hear. Is like, bro, I've been overcoming walls and breaking through these things my entire life. So whatever's gonna come at me in barber school or in life, like, I'm just ready to attack and overcome. And I just love that mentality about you, and I just knew there wasn't gonna be much to really worry about you in a sense of like finishing school, because I know if I hit a wall myself, man, and I just, I doubted myself. That self-doubt was always there. Yeah, in a sense, like, yo, dude, I just don't know if I can compete with these guys. Like, I went to school with Ivan, man. Like, Ivan the Great, bro. Shout out to him. Oh yeah. He was a great classmate, great friend, but at the same time, great mentor as well. He still is to this day, and he's like paving the way for a lot of the guys that are just in the industry now that have questions about how to utilize their time, their money, and resources. So.
I mean, that's huge too. I mean, you kind of said it yourself right there. It's like understanding that there are people that you can look up to, but you said hitting a wall is something that almost like petrified you from continuing to do what you're doing. How do you feel like you responded in that sense? Like, how do you feel like that fear of failure or fear of not being enough kind of helped you perpetuate yourself into the position you are now today?
Yeah, I mean, failure, or the fear of failure, is always going to be there, man. And every day you wake up and try to conquer it, right? I mean, that's kind of how I attack every day now. Is like, I may not do this consultation to the best of my ability, but I'm gonna be better tomorrow. And I think, that Kobe mentality too kind of comes into play, where like there is no tomorrow, bro. So you try to be your best version of yourself every day, and you try to leave a lasting impression every day too. And if you wake up doing that, I think that you're in good hands, and coming to work and knowing what you do and love every day, man. It just doesn't seem like like work. So.
Oh, that's huge too, bro. I mean, through everything that you've been doing too, like you said, it's like the failure. How big has failure been for you? I mean, you've started up this business. You're very successful. You got 6 people in your shop. You actually have another business within your shop, which is the boxing in the back. You have all of this stuff going for you too. I'm sure you've had those struggles, and there's times where you felt as though you were failing. You felt that you couldn't get out of this situation. How have you kind of dealt with failure through your journey, and how have you kind of perceived it to put you in the position that you are now?
So really, bro, another great question. I pray a lot, bro, when it comes to that stuff. I honestly thank God for putting me in those situations where I have failed, where I lose sleep, where it might look sunny on this side, but it's super stressful on the other side, man. Like, getting to this point and having the brick and mortar, having a shop, like, it's not easy, especially being a Latino in a German-dominated community. Like, I feel like a lot of people wish. Not will ill, but they don't want to see you be more successful than them, in a sense. Yeah. Like, I maybe got there a little quicker, or I went a different route, but I had to go through those obstacles and overcome those and ask for help. Like, that's one thing I've always, kind of felt ashamed about. I mean, as a man, I feel like sometimes you just don't want to ask for help. You want to have all the answers and provide stability and support to who are people that look up to you, but asking for help is really one of those biggest things that I've learned to adjust with after hitting that failure. Yeah, not being able to apply for loans or not being approved. I didn't take really no for an answer, and so getting to where I am here today, like I thank God for one to give me that the path that I'm in now. So
How big has that faith been for you through your
Man,
journey,
it's big time, man. I used to be such like a spontaneous person, and like now I'm just so calm when it comes to like understanding the power of prayer and doing it every night, and and having a daughter now too. Being a family man and trying to transition into all that has really helped me being better in my faith. It's night and day on how I approach it now.
And I mean, you just kind of spoke to it too. It's like we look up to the Lord as the number one leader in our life, right? And that's what's put you in and helped you understand the mindset that it takes to do the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
For you growing up as a leader, like did you grow up as a leader, or did it come like more natural to you, or did you have to kind of like go through it, just kind of learn, figure it out, and just
I think
roll with the punches?
I'm a little bit of an OG, right? So I'm an OG barber and a new school barber in the same sense, where I definitely respected like the seniority aspect of things. So like growing up in sports, like if there was a guy that was older than me, like he would take the role, right? Mm-hmm. But I almost kind of felt natural in a sense, like I can do it as well. Maybe not as good, maybe not as fast or strong, but like I understand the role. I know how people are reacting to when you raise your voice or when you don't listen, right? Yeah. So I've always been a really good listener, and I think that just comes out when I cut hair or when I try to lead in certain situations here at the shop, and be an owner. That's honestly one of the biggest obstacles as of the last 2 years, is how to be a better owner. Mm-hmm. And not be more of like, I love being everyone's friend and all, but like at some point there has to be a time where like I have to separate the two. And it's been such a difficult part of the whole process, but I love it every day, as far as like I learn how to be better, and hopefully that you guys we can translate, what I'm saying, like sure.
And I see it too. I mean, that's the best part about being around you too, is because you have that knack, bro. Like every time people come in there, they see what you're doing. It's not a lot of people like to talk about stuff and not be about it. Everything that I've seen is like you said, you've been cutting my hair since I was in like 5th, 6th grade. Yeah. And it's like we were talking about you getting your own shop even back then, and just to actually not just be and see it, but be here, be with you, understand what your why is, understand the journey that you've taken to get here, and to grow up seeing you do that stuff. Like you said, it's like your biggest thing is to inspire those kids. It's not just to cut their hair, it's to give back in a way. And I mean, I'm a walking, talking proof of that. That's a reality that you're living, bro.
Yeah.
And it is so awesome to be like, oh yeah, dude, like this dude was cutting my hair when I was in 6th grade. Now I'm working with him. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild, yeah.
And that's just really cool to see how it all kind of comes full circle, bro. But like, what are some things that you've been kind of like implementing recently, like within your business, and trying to take it to the next level? Because obviously you've gotten here, but in business, you always got to keep moving so you don't get stagnant. What are some things that you've been kind of doing?
I mean, that's literally the beauty of this industry, man, is always changing, right? From the clippers to the way like we approach our day-to-days, like this industry is always going to keep you guessing, and you have to be ready to answer those questions whenever you get to, maybe that fade isn't going to pay the bills, so you got to do something different. But right now, what's in motion, man, is just being better with my money, obviously investing for the future, and just trying to create generational wealth. Like I'm now not only mopping the floors and keeping the lights on for myself and you guys, like I am now trying to set a foundation for my daughter and my family. And just down the road, I think, it's gonna leave a way longer, that lasting impression is gonna be better with them, and it's just a testament to my faith, what I'm saying? I always prayed for a family, right? And now I got it, bro. I got a healthy daughter. I got great friends around me and great support system. But like, people forget about the little things like you didn't get, right? And you have to be grateful for those things you didn't get either, because it wouldn't be pushing you to where you're at today. And
it makes you hungry.
Yeah, man. It makes you 10 times hungrier when you don't get it. And then when you do, you got to remember that, it's like, yeah, bro, let me get a quick 1,000 and see what happens. I can pay my bills off. And like, people forget to stay humble and actually do that stuff, right? Put it away, save it. And when you talk about it, be about it type stuff, like I'll talk about it when I know it's in my grasp. And, getting the shop up and running just really, it wasn't like, Rome was built in a day, right? And I take that same mentality when it comes to here. It's like there's so many deals that I want to do and upgrades into this shop, but like I admire people that stick around and watch the process. That's
huge, man. And then you're talking about your daughter too. Within being a new dad, being a new father, that's something I don't understand yet. I'm still pretty young. So how has being a new father kind of impacted you? Has it impacted your mentality, your perspective, cultivating that relationship with your family now, as well as running a business? How has that impacted you? Has it made it hungry? Has it made you hungrier? Has it made
100%.
you want to keep working harder? And then what does that kind of like came into your reality as?
Yeah, so the drive is definitely amplified. You know, I'm not mopping the floors for myself, or like I'm mopping them for her. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a representation of her as well. You know, so. And that's why I always say when you guys go out and about, you know, like you're a representation of the Fade Factory. So be mindful of who you're talking about, or be mindful of what you say. And, you know, it just kind of goes to show like how we carry ourselves in the shop, and it all just spills over to family and friends and the people that are around you. And so having family now and you know, now a daughter is just, it's brought my family closer. We spend way more time together, you know, and like, just like the little memories that we create just mean so much more, and there's so much more value in those little moments now. It's just insane that, you know, like a little girl can bring so much joy, you know, into what you do. And so, I mean, I don't normally hang pictures up over my station, but you know, I got her now, you know, and so it's good to see her every day and watch her grow. But it also pushes me and propels me to where I'm at today, into my mindset of I can't just, you know, go through the motions, man. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep pushing and being more successful. And you know, and success can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But you know me, man. Like for me, it's just gonna be my long-lasting impression on how, you know, what I leave behind. If I happen to go tomorrow or 20 years, 30 years from now, like what did I do to set myself apart and, you know, leave a legacy behind?
That's huge, bro. And through creating that legacy and cultivating it, it's like going through all the stuff that you've gone through, going through the failures, going through the people around you, whether it be falling off or not having those friends that you thought would stick with you. What has kept you grounded through all those hardships, through all those heartaches? Like what has helped you stay true to yourself?
I think sacrificing a lot of my time, bro, when it comes to not going out as much, or like, you know, not traveling as much. I sacrifice a lot with my time with my wife as well, and she's a big part of where my success is today as well, because she is a big supporter of obviously like my career, and I think having a partner that is a fan of what you do, you know what I'm saying, like it's so detrimental to how you're successful, man. It just it pays dividends, man. So like, and I can bounce things off of her too, like am I doing the right thing? And so having a partner in that sense, you know, and being supportive of what you do is great.
Yeah, man. You hit the nail on the head too. You just spoke right in what we're gonna ask is the sacrifice, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and the sacrifices are big, man. Like, you know, obviously, you know, you can give up partying, you can give up certain things, and you know, where's your goal? You know what I'm saying? Like, my biggest thing is if you're out celebrating with your friends, like what are you truly celebrating? Yeah. You know, are you celebrating like a good day at the shop? Are you celebrating just, hey, it's Friday and there's a special on? Or, you know, like what's the deal? And for me, I've always been good about celebrating the little wins, but also like, you know, I have a lot of clientele, right? And when someone has a birthday, bro, I make it just like a mission to make sure that I celebrate with them and their win. Yeah. As much as I would want people in my circle to celebrate us. And that's the thing, is that my circle is so like nitpicky about what we do. And so, you know, I think that just plays part of how successful we've been. It's like, yeah, we like to celebrate the little wins, but we're always waiting for those big wins and taking trips and just enjoying them, man, just watching it coming to fruition. And back to like, you know, the process of the shop is like Rome wasn't built in a day. And so I feel like once we keep, you know, building on those little building blocks, I feel like we're gonna have something big here, man.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, I always tell people it's the 3 S's. You have to sacrifice, suffer, and then succeed. It's like if you're not willing to do those 2 things before you gain your success, it's going to be a short-term gratification. I mean, everybody, like you said, in this day and age, and even me, like I fall victim to it too. It's like I sit there and I'm like, oh, I want this microwave dub, bro. I want to just throw it in the microwave, hit 30 seconds, and then come successful out on the other end. But through those times of the sacrificing, through the suffering, it's like we find that being patient, understanding that it's not just going to come today, it's not just going to come tomorrow, it's going to take months, maybe even sometime years, because it's like through building this, through having your family, through seeing what the people around you did that you want to do or you don't want to do, it's like you have to be willing to sacrifice something. And not just that, you have to be willing to suffer. And it's like, through that, I feel like people give that a bad connotation because they think suffering and sacrificing is bad. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's brought you so much benefit. It's brought me so much benefit.
Yeah.
We've continued to move through it, you know?
Yeah, carrying your L's, man. Like, you know, there's a lot of meaning behind that, but carrying your L's in a sense, like, don't forget where you failed, don't forget who you let down, and then try to inspire someone else, like, through your hardship, right? Through your hard work. And those big L's that you do carry will transition to little wins. And I think that's why I like to celebrate a little too much sometimes when it comes to like, hey, like we're the best barbershop now in 2024, you know, and Hayes, that was such a goal for me. Yeah. And when we hit it, it just didn't seem real.
Yeah, bro.
And then when it did hit and it became real, I was like, man, like what's next?
Yeah.
You know, and so I love that feeling. I love of what that next feeling is going to be like in the sense of success in the shop. And, you know, you guys are just spitting images of what I wanted, man. Well, you know, hardworking people in the shop all the time, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, for you especially, just having the people around you, trying to lead those people and trying to push them into the place that's most successful. Through this field too, it's ever changing. What is some things that you do to like continue to hone your craft? Because you're still active, you're still behind the chair, you're still working hard, you're still grinding, bro. You're still here with me every morning, every night. Like it's so dope to see that, and you got your family. What is something that you continue to do to hone your skills, hone your craft, and just put you in the best position to give the clients the best experience you possibly can?
Honing my craft, man. Another great question, shoot. I mean, being the first in the building, being the last, you know, I've always lived by that. And you're now just like, you're watching it happen, man. And it's the little things behind the scenes that make the shop go. And if I could copy myself 10 times over, I wouldn't have to work again, right? But I am still behind the chair. I still love what I do every day. And I don't think I'll ever stop in the sense of helping people or inspiring people or trying to teach someone how to go through a haircut or whatever it may be, how to start a business. I feel like I can always bring something to the table in the sense of I have value in what I'm saying and what I've experienced. So honing my craft, back to that, I just, you know, I'm always trying to keep my edges sharp, man. I'm always just trying to stay in the game in the sense of just being aware of that everything is changing around me. And so I got to put myself in the situations where I'm uncomfortable, whether it be with color, whether it be, you know, starting a podcast or whatever it may be. Like I have to keep myself in the elements of uncomfortability to become comfortable in a sense where I can start becoming more successful in other lanes other than just haircutting. And it's all just a, you know, detriment to the space, man. I mean, we get so creative in here and start flowing with those juices, you know, of creativity, and it's crazy. Like, you know, I'm falling victim to it too, as far as there's so much we could do. I know you do it all the time too, bro. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go see it. And like, I love that. You know, I'm 33 years old, and I still feel like I'm 19, 21, you know, like those years are just so good to me, but I still feel just as hungry as I was that day when I turned 19, 20, 21. Like, it's crazy.
I saw a quote that it said, it was actually one of the barbers, pretty big. He said, you have to be willing to outwork your younger self in order to put you in the place that your younger self wanted to be. And I feel like that was so profound, because every single day it's like, I mean, I'm sure you said it too. It's like, if you could go back and look at your younger self and have a conversation, like, are they going to be proud of what you did? Are they going to be happy with where you've moved to? Or are they going to look at you and be like, dang, dude, I wish I wasn't like that.
Right.
But one thing that I've always realized is that every single day, like, we have this capability to move towards the journey and the destinations that we have. And it's like I always say, a 1,000-mile journey starts with one step. And that's the biggest thing too, is just continuing to cultivate those opportunities. And through creating your business, how big has networking been for you? And especially in Hayes too, because like you said, you are a brown business owner, and then being in a predominantly white area, how has that affected you? How have you gone through that? How's marketing been for you? Like, even getting this shop, I mean, I'm sure you had to get loans, get all the business side of stuff. How was that going through those processes, and then realizing that you can and you can't do certain things?
I guess if I can go back and tell like 19, 20-year-old Leo, anything from what I've learned now is just don't take no for an answer, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, so, you know, looked down upon in the sense of like, yeah, you can't do it. Look where you come from, look where you live, look what you wear. And I did take that to heart for a while, man. You know, there was a time and place where I didn't want to be Hispanic. I wanted to fit in, you know, and that played a big role in how I approached the game as far as leadership goes. And I think now in the marketing scheme of things and being able to provide a platform for you guys to market yourself too, I think it's major in the sense of, you know, it wasn't available to me, and now that I have the tools necessary to help you guys out, it just comes so easy. And there's so many lanes we can go with it as far as marketing and, you know, achieving more, getting more loans or whatever it may be, you know, to expand the place. But yeah, I mean, it didn't come easy at first for sure, but it just feels like the fluidity of like the way we're doing things is we're in our own lane. You know, people are looking to us in a sense of inspiration. I've always tried to fit out of the mold or find something that, you know, other people can't provide, and then just utilize that.
Box,
yep,
you know?
exactly. So like for me, it started off with just using the razor, bro. Like being a barber, yeah, it means something to somebody, but it means more to me because I can use the razor, right?
Yeah, man.
And I can utilize that in my haircut every time someone sits in my chair.
Yeah, man.
And they don't even need it, you know what I'm saying? I could just be a minor touch up, but I busted it out. I snapped the blade, and that's now they're interested. Now they're tuned in. They're all the way up, volume up, bro. You know, so I've used that to
your advantage.
my advantage.
Almost. Yeah, dude. That's sick, bro.
No, I've used the razor to my advantage in the sense of now I've cornered a market. Now it's so big that we're in the epitome of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the big boss building. Love it. It's so nice.
No, it is huge, bro, because it's like you have that creativity. And one thing I always tell people too, and I just kind of want you to speak on this because this is just like a fun fact about Leo, I guess. But I mean, hey, a lot of people know it. It's like you're so crazy at designs, bro.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Let's get started on the designs, bro. You are insane at designs, bro. You put freaking, we can pop them up on the screen too. It's like you put Chiefs designs in this kid's head, or a Wildcat, or dude, I mean, I was just saw you do some anime logos and all that stuff, and from Naruto in this kid's head. What kind of opened your eyes to being that creative? Because you said you had the art background, you said that. What made you just grab the freaking like trimmer and start drawing? Like, how'd you kind of get into that door specifically?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what inspired me to be a barber. You know, there was a barber by the name of Rob the Original that was doing portraits on guys' heads and doing these crazy designs, 3Ds, whatever. And it started, I was like, all right, I can get that in my head. Can I find a barber that can do that? And I ultimately did in my good friend Isaac Esquivel from Garden City, man. I mean, shout out to him again. Like, he did a Cheech and Chong in my head, right? One time, bro. It was so tough. So tough. I mean, the joint and everything was in there. Sorry, bro, but like it was. And I mean, it really just grabbed my attention so much. I was like, bro, I could do this too. You know, I'm not too far away from this. And when I see that goal achievable, like I'm gonna go get that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro.
And so I utilized what my time was in barber school as the guy that did designs.
Yeah.
You know, and a barber there, and I'll never forget, his name is Jesus. He goes, one day, bro, I'm gonna get a haircut from you now, but one day, like, your designs are gonna mean something. You're gonna be famous for doing this. And then I didn't really, like, you know, think about it too much then, but like now looking back, I'm like, yeah, dude, like I'm the one that can do it here in Hayes. Like,
That's so
you know,
true.
and there for a while I was the only one doing designs, you know, or doing any razor work. So, you know, like his inspiration, I mean, I kept that in the back of my head. Is like this is gonna mean something. So in every design I do, like, it's meaningful to me. I wanted to go out perfect. I wanted to be the best thing that the kids ever had or a person's ever had on their head, bro. It's insane how creative we can get with just hair. So, you know, we're not just barbers, we're literally hair artists in the sense that we create something from nothing, bro. Yeah, and we sell confidence so, like, every day and so easily that, like, we believe it to the T, you know. So the designs, man, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, just back to Rob the Original, man. I mean, he does portraits, right? So, like, I've always looked up to his work, but then I found someone else that can kind of inspire me too. And when I took one of his classes, I just I utilized everything he taught me. He taught me to use, like, the trimmer in a sense as a Sharpie. Yeah. You know, use the corners of the blade, utilize your tool in the sense of make it work for you, and not just be limited by what the tool offers you. So, you know, I mean, that's the part of the game, bro. You know, use your combs, you know, if you don't have a certain thing in your tool set, you can find a way to get around it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you lose your half guard or don't have a 2 or forget your shears, like, what do? You know, you have to literally think outside the box when it comes to barbering, and it it flows over into business. It flows over into your day to day. You
I
just
think
have to be
that's
ready to
awesome.
roll with the dice. You know what I'm saying? Roll with the punches.
I mean, you were talking about it. It's being able to roll with that, and through this, there's creativity, and not having something might create another way to do something, and that all comes back to your perspective. And then growing to where you are now, creating designs, being a leader. How huge is having a different perspective than those around you helped you, like, to perpetuate you into a place that you are now, like. Having that perspective that is different from those around you, and pushing you to the places and to the goals that you want to achieve. How has that kind of opened your eyes to a new reality?
So elaborate that question one more time.
So like, how has your perspective on different things, whether it be cutting hair, whether it be being a leader, like looking at stuff from a different view, from a different lens, how has that created a new reality from you? So not looking at it the same as somebody else, like, because me and you both, like, we're both sitting here, we're both barbers, but you'll see a haircut and have a different perspective on it than me. But how has that different perspective cultivated this? I mean, cultivated the shop, the Fade Factory, your leadership, and just the tenacity that you have.
So seeing it from a different lens, bro. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a mold that people want you to fit in around here, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt like if I fit in the mold just long enough, fake it till you make it, I can probably just create my own, right, mold, so to speak. And like looking at it through an ownership process as a husband, as a brother, and then I mean as a barber, you know, like you start thinking about what can make me most successful. Is it just taking everybody in and hiring anybody I want, or staying true to the process and finding someone that really is going to be an asset to the team? And you know, not only can I provide something for them, but what can they bring to the table as well? You know, so like when I go through the hiring process now, like I feel like my team is the best team in Hayes, bro, because everybody brings something to the table that we're just like kind of unmatched, bro. Yeah. And I think that's just true to one for you guys. Being true to yourselves, and how I always told you every day is like, bro, just be yourself. And I mean, that's like the biggest gem I can ever give somebody, man. Like, just if I can give anybody any advice, is just be true to yourself. You know, believe in yourself. Learn how to fail, and then learn how to get back up and put in the hard work. And so, learning from that perspective too, man. It's just you know, it's crazy to think where we were, you know, 2 years ago, let alone 8. Yeah, you know, we've done a lot of growth. You know, we opened up in 2022, and now looking at, you know, 2025 through that lens, it's crazy what we can see in 2030. You know, if we want to open up a new location, if we want to, you know, start a school, like the possibilities can be endless. It's just that we have to make sure that we make the right moves and have the right team around us, man. And then, you know, testament to you, bro. Like, you literally inspire every day. You know what I'm saying? And I think. Yeah. I was doing the same for a while, but like now I come to work, I'm like, hey man, what's RMS doing? You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. You know,
I mean,
or like
it all comes full circle. Like you said, it's like you have to be willing to let people create, and in this industry, you have provided that. You told me when I was sitting here, I was in high school, so this is really awesome because I was in high school. We had a program called Career X. And Leo, you remember, bro? Yeah, so we had the Career X. I was always coming here, man, and I was like, hey, Leo. I texted him. I was like, hey, can I come to the shop? Can I chill with you, bro? I have this class. It's called Career X. I really like what you guys are doing. The shop's awesome. Could I just come hang out and see what you guys are doing? And you provided an opportunity for me, not just to see what you're doing, but to be around it, engulf myself in it. And every single day you told me, you're like, bro, just come chill. Look what I'm doing. Ask questions. See how you can be better. And it's like, one time you told me, it's like, bro, you weren't asking me that much, but I'd go home, I'd cut hair in my garage, and then you'd see it and you go, oh shit, Remy, you're actually you're listening, you're looking, you're hearing everything, you're watching, you're absorbing. And that was so sick to me because every single day you told me, you're like, just be yourself, bro. Just be yourself. And it's what I ended up doing, and now I have this place and we're doing the things that I'm doing, and it's because you cultivated that for me. It's because you gave me that opportunity. You could have very easily just said, nah, bro, we're busy, I don't need you in the shop. Like, it's one less thing for me to worry about, but you opened that door for me to be myself.
It really is hard to have someone watch you shadow and ask questions and still stay true to the conversations that you're building in with the client in your chair. They have to be cool with it, to have someone come shadow and like maybe, I don't want to say disrupt the flow of the shop, but like, when you come here, bro, like you know, you're learning, right? Yeah. And you also want to like ask them the most you can to make the most out of your day. And so, you know, I'm not going to hold you back from that. So I always told you, just bro, just watch and learn, baby, you know, and it started day one, bro, you know, and you ask the right questions, you know, and your questions are so meaningful. And so whenever you do ask a question, for me now these days, I'm like, man, like, he's gonna take every part of this and write it down and remember that shit like you have a photogenic memory.
Come on,
so
man.
Like, you know, I have to come equipped, bro. I have to come ready to answer. So that's how I attack the day. And you know, back to Career X, man. I mean, you made me go and talk in front of a class. I'm still uncomfortable talking in front of people like that, in a sense of like, how can I inspire you more? How can I help you in your journey? But like you've now done it so many times now. Yeah, you go and do classes, right? And you know, that's inspiring to me, bro. Like, you know, I want to get to that point as well where I can be more comfortable in a classroom setting. I can sit there and teach you how to cut hair in a classroom setting, or I can teach you how to do a fade or whatever. But what I really admire in people that I hire is like their customer service, bro. Like their likability, their sense of like acknowledgement to the fact like, you know, you're actually listening to like their problems, right?
Yeah, man.
You're not just like another dollar sign, so to speak. And I think that's why when people ask for a job here, I'm like, well, you know, like, yeah, I can provide you you know, like the shop and the booth and stuff, but like, what can we get from you, kind of sense? You know what I'm saying? What can we learn from you? What do you bring to the table?
What's the ROI?
Yeah, bro.
You know?
Exactly.
I think that's awesome too. I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, oh, well, you guys have an open chair in there, and I was like, yeah, we might, but everything comes down to ROI, whether it be relationships with your friends, whether it be relationships with your family, whether it be relationships with people you're trying to bring into your business. Everything comes down to the return on your investment. And I always tell people, it's a give and a give. It's like, if I can't give you something and you can't give me something back, there's no point in this relationship. And it's like, whether it's giving something good or bad, everything comes down to your inputs. If you have inputs that are going to bring you into a positive place, you're going to have very beneficial outputs. But it's the same thing. If you have those negative inputs, you're going to have detrimental outputs. And that all goes into what you're saying. Like, you hold yourself to a standard. And how has that standard kind of created this shop and this environment? Like, what kind of went through your head when you were creating this to create that standard? Because sometimes it is hard as a leader and as a friend and also as a father and also as a figure that people look up to, like, to create and set those boundaries. But how has holding yourself to that standard kind of made you?
I mean, it's how I attack every day, bro. I feel like if you came and shadowed me, if Manny came and shadowed me, if anyone came and shadowed, you would know like how I carry myself in a conversation, in a consultation, through a haircut, and on the way out the door, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're a homie, even though I just met you, kind of vibe, you know what I'm saying? And that goes to how I go about like adding teammates, you know? Like, I went out on a limb, I had nothing I knew nothing about nails, and then here I am, you know, I have the best nail tech. Shout out Reagan, you know, like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, bro. So like, the return on my investment is that I have the best, you know, nail tech. But like, at first I'm like, dude, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. What's a petty chair, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had no clue, you know, that's not my realm. And so like, that's what I love about you guys. You guys give me the opportunity to like fail in a sense, like, I don't know what I'm doing, in the sense of ownership and providing that space, but like, I will make sure it gets done right, in the right way. And no, it just, you know, it just goes to show how I carry myself every day and every approach and every haircut. Yeah, bro, it kind of just, like, yeah, it's just, I practice, you know what I'm saying? I don't just talk about it, I be about it, you know? It sounds so cliche, but I do it every day.
Yeah, it's funny too, because last night, I mean, you had this dude come in from New York into Kansas, bro.
Bro, I attacked that so differently, because I watched how he belittled one of my barbers, bro, right before. And so I knew who he was, and he was so picky, and I didn't give a damn if he was the best doctor in the state, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was in my chair asking for my services, taking the time away from my family, bro. So like, I'm like, hey, look, I get that you're picky, bro. I get you have little things that you're trying to be nitpicky about, but let's have common ground. Yeah. Like, what is reality and what is, you know,
what is not.
What is not, exactly. It's just kind of, it comes down to that. What is reality and what isn't? And so I asked him, like, what is your goal with your hair, for one, and then what can I do to help? You know, but I also had to kind of like dumb it down a little bit, because he was throwing so, like, he got big with his words, in a sense. He's trying to like overshadow, or like, you know, just yeah, bro, yeah, man. I mean, look, he's a doctor, bro. He injects certain, you know, he does it, bro. He does it, and I applaud him for that, dude. He was stressed out that day, and I think he needed some kind of outlet. He needed someone to bounce off ideas off of, and someone to listen to him. And I think that's, you know, at the end of my day, even though I had a 9-10 hour day, like, I was able to do that for him. And he literally goes, this is the best. This is the best. You're the best. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he was ultimately happy with the result. But I went through 3 or 4 different emotions going through that style of haircut. That now I feel like an attack. You know,
you're an attack dog, boy.
I'm an attack dog, bro. I can attack anything though, and I love. That's why I love about walk-ins. You know, and I'm not scared to take in new clients, or am I scared to do a haircut? I think being a master barber comes with that, bro.
Yeah, but you have to be able to do everything, and
yeah,
that's
whatever sits in the chair.
Come on, and that's something that we talk about as well a lot. It's like one thing that we talked about is that you have to be willing to do the stuff you don't want to do to get to the places you want to get to. And understanding that you have to be able to be a utility belt. You have to be a Swiss Army knife, because that's something that I saw from you guys. When I was cutting in the garage, it's like I had no idea how to cut like the top of people's hair.
Yeah.
First thing I did was like, hey, Leo, you've been doing this for so long. Like, can you teach me something? And you taught me so much about just cutting the top of their hair, the shear cutting aspect, because a lot of barbers know how to fade, but not a lot of people actually know how to use their scissors, utilize their comb, utilize sectioning, utilize all of that. And that's something that you really helped me with too. And then
yeah, bro, and then you've taken it and it just became your own thing. You know what I'm saying? You are your own monster. And I told these guys when you were coming, I was like, bro, he's coming, right? So like you have to be ready. Like I'm cool, I'm chilling, I'm learning also too, but like you know, you and I went to our first class together. Like I learned so much, and I was through a different lens.
Oh, yeah.
And you were soaking everything with a wider lens, and it's crazy how like from that trip on, bro. Like we're here. We've grown so much since then. It's insane. And it took one little drive to kind of just push this forward, propel it that much farther.
And I mean that's so huge, bro, because it's like, through that, we come to understandings and realizations. It's the tenacity to do absolutely everything it takes to get to the place that you want to be. And I was writing that in my journal. It's like I'm willing to literally die for what I believe in. And if you don't have the mindset that you will put everything on the line to get you to the places you want to be, it's like you won't get there.
Yeah.
And that's something I've seen you do too. It's like you've been willing to sacrifice sometimes a relationship, sacrifice time, sacrifice something in order to get to the place that you want to be. And it's motivated me, dude. It's pushed me into understanding that, hey, like this is a reality. I can do this. I can do what not everybody thinks is possible. And like for you, it's like you have had that within you to create this reality. And through that, like at some points in your journey, was it hard for you? How did it emotionally affect you when people told you couldn't, or that you weren't going to do it, or it wasn't going to be obtainable for you? Like, how'd that affect you? And then how'd you deal with it? Because I'm sure it got hard, because it's gotten hard for me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like back to like not taking no for an answer, man. Not taking no for an answer really just, it sits deep with me, man, because I have been, you know, looked down upon because I don't know much English, or my grammar isn't as best, or maybe I don't know enough Spanish like I should, you know? So like, I can still do things, bro. I still bring value to the table in a sense that I can show you that I'm more than just what you see, you know?
Yeah.
You have to get to know me. And I feel like in the town that we live in now, like people and rumors spread like wildfire.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't know like my background. They don't know what it took to get here. They don't know what I do on a day to day, or how much I love family, bro. And that means a lot to me too. So, and I bring it to the table every day in the sense of like my work family. You guys are an extension of my real family, man. It just means so much to me that you guys, you know, use your careers in a sense to help people, man. And that's really what I'm all about, is just to help people. And when people realize that I'm not just here for the dollar signs, bro. I'm here to provide a service and help people out and feel the best, their best selves.
Come on.
Like, come on, man. Like, there's no greater feeling.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
I was talking to Vic Blends in Tampa, and they were talking about him. Jay Major, he was talking about him. He's like, dude, there was this little white boy that came in talking about how he's gonna be creating an impression for the world, and we're sitting here like, okay, bro. The fact that he cultivated that and made it a reality is something that's just so
you know,
crazy.
Manifesting wasn't ever really a thing until this guy came in. You know, he's like, what are you?
Yeah.
What are you, bro? If you can't do what you do, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
You know, so he was a barber, and next thing you know, he can't barber. What do you do when your livelihood is taken away from you? So like, you know, he started inspiring people with his words, man. And now it's just it's so like taken for granted, because his inspiration, man, is insane. And he's only like, what, 27?
Yeah, bro, he's still young.
He's young as hell.
And that's
cutting the president and an ex-president. Are you serious?
That's insane.
Tom Brady.
He's just doing it different, bro. And that's
different.
the thing I always say, bro. It's like so many times we get caught up in this lens that, bro, we got to do what everybody else does. It's like, no, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
wheel has been invented, but you can pave your own way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're in the cut and copy industry now, bro. Or in the sense of like one instant gratification. You see someone's success, you want to copy and do it yourself, but it doesn't always work that way.
Come on, bro. I always tell people too. It's like when you
find your purpose and you're super genuine, like people see that.
Yeah.
And gravitate to it.
They do. It's easy. It's because
easy,
you're
likable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. And it's like you create that aura for these people to gravitate towards, as you said, and they want to be around you. And then when you're tenacious on top of that, it's like, how can you tell that person no? It's
also you got to be open-minded too, man.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and say like, bro, like I created
my
all
way
this.
or the highway.
Yeah, no. Like I've always been a part of taking other people's information that they give me and making it my own. And you are definitely a testament to that, bro. Like you soak it all in. You're the biggest sponge I know, and I was the same way. And I got to where I'm at because I was able to learn. I was able to take a step back and really watch.
Just see how they do it, because like you said, it's like, bro, you don't always know what the best thing is.
You have to ask for help, bro. You have to. I wouldn't be here where I am today if I didn't ask questions, or, hey, bro, I'm stuck. Where do I go from here? Who do you know that can help me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's just you don't want to be the smartest smartest one in the room, bro. You want to be in a room full of smart people.
Come on,
man. Man. And that way you can soak it all in, bro. And then eventually you'll be that guy.
And that's something that I just try to do, too. It's like I'm trying to live my life in order to provide for those around me. I always say my biggest fear.
Well, you're leading on the next gen, bro. For real.
Bro.
I mean, we have kids literally in high school still. I wish I would have done that where I knew that haircutting was going to be, barbering was going to be my thing, my outlet, my way to success, my way to financial freedom.
Yeah.
If I knew that early on, I wouldn't have lost, 5 to 6 years of my, I don't want to say loss of my life, but like I have a lot of relationships and people still come to me from those relationships and sit in my chair, but like, I wouldn't
even say, like you said, it's like you didn't inevitably lose it, you learned a lesson. I always like to say it's like you didn't lose, you learned. And it's like you didn't fail, you found out. So it's like you either found out a different way, you learned a new perspective, you grasped something with the vision and with the new perspective, so therefore you could be in the place that you wanted to be. Because so many times we look at something and we're like, dude, I lost this, or this didn't work out for me. It's like people play the victim mentality. And you could have easily done that too, because you grew up in that. Like you grew up in this place. It's like, you're not gonna do it, you're not gonna do this. And you could have just sat there and dwelled in it, but you had the strength to pull yourself up, bro. Pull your own britches up, bro. Pull your pants up and let's keep treading through the mud, bro. Because it's like you now had that opportunity to do the things that you needed to do and you created for people. And that's just so awesome to see that you do those things, bro. And it's just great to see like where we've ended up and where you've ended up, because when you play victim, you only sell yourself short. And I was saying it the other day, it's like so many people want to be this or want to be that, but they're not willing to sacrifice and do the things that it needs to be done to get there. And that's something that you're a testament to. You did that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, a client asked me once, man, it still sticks to me, and this happened a couple years ago, but he's like, man, you must be sleeping nice at home, bro. You got all this, you got all this success, you have everything under the roof you could ask for. It's like, you must be sleeping good on your pillow. I was like, hell no, what I'm saying? Like, it took me this long, this much hard work put in to get here, like to get the lights on. Like now I got to keep them on, bro. So not only did I now conquer one thing, and I've now leveled up in a sense. And that's the thing, bro. We got to continue to level up. Man. And so every year since year 1 and now year 8, we've leveled up.
Come on.
Right? And so that's just my mentality every year, bro. It's like something's got to change, something's got to improve, and it's gonna be the shop, it's gonna be me, it's gonna be my team around me. Come on, bro.
And it's like, it's the perspective that people have. And I always think it's like, they think ignorance is sometimes bliss, and it's really not, because they look at this and it's like, oh, well, dude, they see all the stuff you have, and it's like, oh, you have this much success, so you must be living life, or you must be doing good, or this must be just everything's just perfect for you. Yet they don't understand that there's a reality to this. Like it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
A lot of behind the scenes, bro. And you live and learn, especially like when it comes to, and I'll give you a prime example, when it comes to renovating or doing upgrades, like you are on other people's time. So you might have all the money, but you're still on other people's time. Unless you can do it all yourself, which a lot of us can't. You have to ask for help. You are on other people's time, and you have to be mindful of that. right? So you almost get humbled in a sense, like I can't just turn it around in the next day or the next week or within the year. You have to be willing to sacrifice some time in order to, you know, be patient enough to see it play out correctly.
Yeah.
Because you rather, measure once, cut once, or you want to measure twice, cut twice, you know what I'm saying? There's a way to say it when it comes to cutting hair. Is that you want to measure once, or measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I mean, I do that every day, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Same
Every
thing,
hair, every cut has a purpose, every movement, bro. So in no wasted movement, especially when we're battling shit, like when on stage.
Yeah, come on, you gotta
bro.
lock in, bro.
Yeah, you gotta lock in.
Lock
So
in.
if you got the trimmers in your hand, bro, you do everything you can.
Yep.
Come on.
Turn towards me. We gonna get that line up crispy. Turn, turn, turn. Heck yeah. Last question, last but not least, bro. We gonna get you out of here because it's time for you to get out my chair, bro. I'm kicking you out. But dude, I mean, you kind of mentioned it already. Something for the people is just like be yourself. But like, is there anything else you just kind of want to leave the people on? Like a note, like some information, some like just some knowledge, man. Some words of the wiser, bro.
Oh man, look, so if I can give you any advice, guys, I mean, again, bro, in a copy-paste world that we're living in now, bro, just be yourself. Like, everybody just wants a genuine version of yourself. So if it's Instagram, if it's cutting hair, if it's videography, photography, man, look, anything. Like, be yourself, because that's what people want these days, is true realism, you know what I'm saying? So if I can give you any advice, man, other than save money, obviously, you put it away and invest, I feel like you just be yourself and then you'll be happy.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
Come on. We got to show you this cut now, bro. Flip you around and you can see what we doing,
Whoop,
brother.
whoop, whoop.
Come on, man.
Tough.
Boy. Come on. Got him
that.
back in there.
I got my father's head.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
Cleaned up, man. Hell yeah, bro. But nah, man, I just want to say I appreciate your time and you taking off, bro, because, I mean, you inevitably took advantage of this opportunity and said some other things. You sacrificed money and then getting your clients in today. I just want to thank you for that. And then
of course,
I appreciate you being here with me and spending the time and then just answering my questions and then giving me an opportunity, bro. I always appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, the opportunity was here, bro. I'm glad I could help. And then shit, is any helping I can to help you out in your journey, bro, I'm here with you, bro.
Come on, bro.
100%
Amen.
every day.
Amen. We gonna get you gone. Appreciate you, brother. Come on, bro.
What?
Yeah, that's love. That's love. That's love, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Look, just the only dream, then I found my purpose. Walking in it, ain't no monkey business every time I surface. Don't want models twerking, know that bottle service. Good and faithful servant when he call it curtains. Was all but nervous, big things, they were all observant.